government officials insist the mission isolated
Hello and welcome to MBW Live, the Movie Explorer. I'm Michael, and in this show, we talk about movies. And last week I said that it was a special episode, and this one's even more special. Because today, we're talking about Halloween fan films, specifically the one that I made with a little somebody called Cole Gray. And I have him with me today. I'm going to bring him on right now, just to do a little introduction. He's basically my best friend. You guys got to know that. We do everything together. We go to the bathroom together. Everything. Sleep. You name it. And we also make films together. That's less important compared to sleeping together. So, we made Mask of Evil, a Halloween fan film. Couldn't have done it without him. It was a two-man band. And today we're here to talk about it and a little bit about what he does and what we've done together. So I'm going to bring him on right now. Welcome, Cole Gray. Hopefully you can actually hear him and I don't talk for 10 minutes like last time when it's just me. Let's find out.
Sorry, guys. You might hear a lot of coughing, too. I cough a lot.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Notorious cougher.
I don't even smoke. That's the crazy part, but no. I'm just kidding. Hold on 1 second. You know what? My car just went a little quiet, so I'm going to switch to headphones.
I'm going to make sure on my end what happened last time.
Can you still hear me, Mike?
I can hear you. And what happened last time isn't happening, so hopefully they can hear you. If you're watching this right now, that'd be great. If you could just say, yes, we hear you.
Okay, sorry, guys. Give me 10 seconds. Apologies. This is the kind of preparation you get from these two goons here. Hold on, sorry.
Yes, all good. They can hear you. We're good. Here.
Okay, how's it going? Can you hear me?
We can hear you. It's all good.
All right, that's the last time I'll ask. Sorry.
All right.
Might hear the car a little more now, but that's the way it's got to be. What's up, brother? I love you, man.
I love you too.
We just saw each other. A couple days ago at a
No, we didn't.
fun little shoot. Oh, sorry. No, we didn't. Is that secret? Okay,
it's a secret.
sorry.
It's a secret.
Okay.
Everyone
you just told the whole
cares.
world we made love. You just told everybody we fucked, but hey,
Well,
it's cat's
yeah.
out of the bag. Cat's out of the bag.
Okay. I guess you're right. Yeah, man. I love it. You're on.
Cool. Thanks, man. This is I'm happy to be here, dude. I love the last interview with the guy from Canada. I can't remember his name, but that was a really cool interview. I liked how it was kind of too. I told you this already, so sorry, but I'm gonna repeat myself. Two guys kind of in a similar place. It was just with similar passions. It was interesting to listen to. Especially when you're interested in that passion. So I really got a big kick out of that, dude.
Yeah, and thank you. And yes, we did talk a little bit about it. And Dominic, that's the first time I've talked to him like that. You know, that's not instant messenger or whatever. And I would agree. He seems like.
Oh, really? That was the first time you like.
Yeah, like with. It's just different, you know, texting or whatever, instant messenger versus actually speaking like this.
Right. But that was the first time you guys actually like spoke?
Yeah, like that. That wasn't a text, and
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, basically, I'm just saying he seems like a great guy, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm much crazier than you two. I mean, I know you guys are still very upset about that thing that happened, but I'm more like I'm furious. I don't understand really what their thinking was behind that. But you know, I don't want to bring up a sore subject. But you guys talked about it, so. But no, I can't believe what happened to you guys. It just blows my mind. It's kind of scary as a independent artist too. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So I just, you guys are a lot calmer than I am about that. Maybe at least on camera, probably not off camera. That's where the rage happens. But what happened is mind blowing to me that 2 independent films would kind of blow up, and the first thought of the studio is to take those films down and do whatever you can to stifle what is obviously getting a lot of viewership to your product. And could possibly these 2 guys, why would they not hire you? You know, why would they not? That was my big thing, is like, especially when you told me like what happened, I was like, dude, what the, this is the biggest news ever, you know? And they're like, wait, so it's not good news that the studio contacted you, you know, because we've been doing this for about 10 years now, fucking whatever. But that was one of the bigger
10
news
years,
I've
dude,
ever
what are you
heard.
talking about? We just started this month. Shh.
This new venture, yeah. Goddamn. But yeah, I just, it blows my mind. I don't really understand it, and it's just, again, another thing that kind of makes me less, I don't have a lot of faith in Hollywood or studios or anything. So on the flip side, it also gave you, I know too, and Malcolm, right, is his name?
Who?
Oh, it's not Malcolm at all. You just said his name, from Canada?
Dominic.
Dominic, sorry. You know, it kind of lit a fire under your guys' asses too, even though I know you already had one forever, but it definitely is inspiring, and it's flattering, and that too, but I don't really understand their thought process, and that also the anger, I guess, is a good feel too. So sorry, just I could keep going off on that, but it just blows my mind really that happened to you guys. And I think that a lot of people should be a lot of people that are interested in stuff that you are, or just independent filmmakers, if they heard that, it would be shocking to them. I would hope. I mean, not just fan film, but sorry. So.
No, you had to get that off your chest.
Yeah.
I think I can speak for both of us when I say that we went through all the stages of grief over that. You know, not doubt, but disbelief, I guess, anger, sadness, you know, the whole gamut. And the main thing though is that it all worked out, because the film, I probably his too. I can't speak for him, but I feel like Mask of Evil is the best it can be right now. So that's the main positive.
Right.
And that wouldn't have happened unless they did that. So that takes the sting away a little bit, but yeah, I totally agree. They have their logic, and it just doesn't make sense to me. The reality is that in time and space, our films rubbed somebody the wrong way at the right moment, and they just acted on it, when normally for the past, seems 10 years, they haven't.
Right, yeah.
He kind of said that his opinion, which I agree with, is because the rights to that franchise transitioned to different studios or whatever, and they just transitioned back to Trancast, and now they're making the TV show, so I think it has to do with that.
Oh, okay. Huh.
The people that had the...
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say... Okay, yeah, I get... he's not saying just that, but that's probably a part of it. Yeah.
Not just that, but the people that held the cards, so to speak, didn't care about fan films and stuff. But it does so happen that I'd say from that period to now, like, the quality level of most of them has drastically improved. And so they're a little more... I don't know. They're more noticeable that people are making high quality films of that franchise. So it's... I don't know why I'm like defending. I'm not even defending them. I'm just kind of like trying to go in their shoes. Like I said, their logic doesn't fully make sense because there's like hundreds and hundreds of them out there. doing mostly what our films did, and they're still okay. Although there's a couple specific things, but at the same time, like, it's still, there's tons of holes in the logic, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I just don't understand it, but I get what you're saying. You always do that. You're good at that, putting yourself in the shoes and being calm and collected. But I'm more just on like what are you? When I put myself in their shoes, I don't understand why they're not hiring you guys. You know, it just, or why they're not like picking your brains at least, instead of just saying like, hey, literally what they said, this was really, really good. We really, really like this a lot. Can you take it down? And nobody can ever see it again. It's like, what? It's a little bit, why? I mean, I'll take it down. We could talk more about why people like this and not what you guys have been making with Halloween. But anyways, I don't know. I just, probably beat a dead horse here, but and you're right, that is glass half full. You know me, I'm Mr. God guy, so I think God's timing is perfect. Everything happens for a reason, and it was a great thing. So I'm not mad about it. It only comes up when I see you fuckers talking about it. I'm like, I fucking can't believe what those guys, what are they thinking? Like, I don't even understand. I don't understand it. Why would they not, I mean, it's not like it's everyone. It's a very specific group, right? I mean, anyways, I don't know. Sorry, dude. Ask me your damn questions. Interview me. Ask me his fucking questions.
I would just say, like, obviously, like, the more serious filmmakers who make a fan film, that's probably, like, their dreams, like, to make one and then be like, wow, it's so good, make one for us. But I just don't think that would happen, for a couple reasons, but the main reason would be because they don't want to set that precedent, that story to get out there. Like, this person made a fan film, then they got hired to make then like everyone's gonna do that. Like, oh, this is our way in. You're gonna get like, a snowball effect of fan films, which that's not a bad thing for the community, but maybe it is for them. I don't know.
Well, I don't even, it's funny because like when you said fan film, I'm not even sure what that means really, but I mean, obviously it means that it's in the same universe totally. Because there's, so much of what we do is like fan films, basically. But really, I guess they're paying homage or it's a parody. But the only difference, I guess, is right that it's just literally this. I mean, a rhetorical kind of question, I guess. But it's the fact that it's the same exact universe and everything, right?
Yeah, it's an unofficial story in whatever franchise it is. And it's in a gray area. There is no like protections on it. It's just a known thing that's been around for a long time, and the rights holders either turn a blind eye, or maybe they'll even give some nods, or they'll just be totally against it. It's like, you never know. But there's no protections. If anything, the protections are for the rights holders. But obviously, or maybe not obviously, but I think in general, it's like 95% positive because it's just raising awareness to that franchise.
Right.
It's building the community even more. I'd say the only negative maybe is if it's too good, like, and it makes the franchise look bad, then maybe that's bad because then they're like, which that's already there. That's the problem, or not the problem, but that's already happening. There's a lot of fan films that a lot of people will watch them and be like, this is so much better than this. Why can't the studios get it right? And you see comments like that all over.
I mean, do those guys get hired though? Because obviously, I know the Dirty Laundry. That to me, that is my all-time. I don't know fan films very well. Everybody listening, I just love movies. But the best that I've seen, other than like what you've been telling me about, was that Punisher fan film, the Dirty Laundry one. You know what I'm talking about, with like Ron Perlman and Thomas Jane.
There's a fan film with Thomas Jane in it?
Bro, you didn't? Dirty Laundry? We saw it, Mike. We saw it. You don't remember?
Oh, maybe I just don't remember.
It's absolutely incredible. And as far as I know, that guy ended up making other fan films too. But yeah, there's a fan film sequel to well, I guess it's not. I mean, that's even more than a fan film if you actually got Thomas Jane. They sent him the script, and he really was into it, and because he loves the Punisher, obviously. But it's way better than any of the other Punisher sequels, in my opinion. And I hope that guy got hired or he got work off of that. That's the. I see what you're saying. I just don't understand why that person wouldn't therefore get like asked to be a part of the team or hired to do more movies or something. Like, it's weird to say, wow, yours is even better than ours and we have studio money, but please take it down and we want nothing to do with you. I don't know. It's just, but yeah, I mean, obviously there's a bias here. Like, selfishly, I want success for you and stuff, but genuinely, I don't really, if I was them, I don't understand why what harm it could do to their series that you got a lot of people to enjoy it, you know? I mean, I don't know. It's baffling to me a little bit, but
I get that. You know, that would be great if that was the case, but I also see why they wouldn't. Although I don't understand being against them, as long as people aren't trying to make money off of it. But I guess apparently...
What do you mean being against them?
I don't understand why any rights holders would be against them, like, for the most part, against them, you know, unless they're trying to make money. But I guess what I learned is there's more than one way for them to consider you profiting off of it.
Right.
But the only one that I think should matter is...
Hey, you got pussy from that video. Take it down. That's our pussy.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can replace that word with whatever, you know, and that's what they're part of their argument. But it's just like, so what? As
this
long
guy's
as
getting all of our pussy, we might. Sorry, go ahead.
You know, depending on the film, maybe it is raising the status of somebody, saying, "Hey, look what they can do," because I guess they're gaining something from that. But they're also raising even more awareness, building more fan community towards that franchise. That's only going to help it. You know, I don't think there's a fan film like that someone made, and then people that watched it are like, "Man, that was great. Now I fucking hate that franchise." Like, nobody does that. They're just like, "Wow, I love it. I love the franchise." You know?
Yeah. So weird, man. So strange that one of the, you know, and that's another part of the kind of the anger about it is like the confusion. Usually, it's a very like anger is very direct, and you're like, okay, that's why. With this one, I'm so confused what their thoughts are that adds a little bit to the like. It's offensive almost, but because you aren't making any money. The opposite, actually, you're spending a lot of money. You know what I mean? To make people enjoy this beautiful story. You know, this legend. That, you know. So I don't really. And you didn't. It is a fan film. You didn't change shit. I mean, you paid great homage. You're clearly a huge fan, and you did justice to it, in my opinion. And so, anyways, dude, fuck. Now I'm getting pissed off. Thanks.
Well, the final version of Mask of Evil that it is now, the only thing that makes it a fan film is the character of Michael Myers. Nothing else in there, which purposely, you know, I did to try to get everything out of it that could cause a problem, except for the one thing you can't get rid of, which is Michael Myers. Because if you want it to be a fan film, a true fan film, you need him. However he looks, you know, if you call him the Shape or Michael Myers, it's still the character, and you just can't get away from that. So,
no, his name is Michael Dyers.
Yeah.
That's so stupid. Yeah.
I mean, that could be.
But I agree with you. I agree with you, and what I'm also, I mean, what we always say to each other, the stars align. We got a fire under our belly about this one, so, or in our belly, I'm not sure whatever it is, but it's just a cool story now. I guess not that cool, somewhat cool, but no, it's cool. That's really cool. That's incredible to me. I would say that's of everything that we've ever been a part of, that's the closest to success we've ever gotten in.
Yeah, which at the time it hurt, but you know, looking back, it wasn't a bad thing, and it ended up being a positive thing. So
yeah, and success, I mean, everybody listening right there, I take that back. Success is we fuck success every day. That's how close we are to it. That sounded weird, but No. Not mad about a thing. Not mad about a thing. Just more mad at the studios of Halloween about why they would choose to do that. Confused, I guess. Sorry, now I'm rambling. Ask me a question. Save me. Help me.
I'll just say one last thing on that, and then we'll move on, which is just that I do think they're missing out on something. Because obviously they're aware, clearly, that there's fan films out there. It might be beneficial for them to take ones that they think are good. I don't know, and get some feedback. It doesn't have to be some crazy thing where, hey, guys, we're inviting you to, like, literally just send a form. Hey, we see that you care about the franchise. You made something that's pretty cool. Here's a feedback form to give us some feedback on the franchise. Because clearly the work you made, other people like it. So yeah. I just think they're missing something.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree. I mean, you and, I keep calling him fucking Malcolm. You and Dominic could be... No, it's Malcolm.
It's Dominic.
Is it Dominic? Fuck. You and Dominic could have said, hey, you guys together, go, or I know there's a couple other, like, was it like 2 other films or 4 total or something? Anyways, they could have said, you guys, and I don't want to say whose was what or whose was better or anything like that, but as far as I know, it was like, when did they figure it out, And I thought it was maybe your movie, correct me if I'm wrong, is when, like, the storm came. It doesn't really matter, but I think it kind of matters. But, I think they could have said, hey, you guys together, like, can we hear what your thoughts are and how we can make this series continue and better, whatever. But, yeah, they didn't do any of that. So it's just strange to me. I mean, because obviously they have to know that people hated their last few Halloween movies. I didn't even see the last one, but the last 2 I didn't see. I actually kind of liked the newer one because I thought it was cool that Jamie Lee Curtis was kind of like, she was kind of recreating the shots from the first one, and she was like all like Sarah Connor now and stuff. I thought that was kind of cool. That was
the only good thing about that one.
Yeah. I agree. That was it was so good that it actually made the movie. Yeah, you're right. It was the only good thing. There you go. I didn't see the last 2, but I heard they were so bad. That's why I didn't see them.
The mask was cool. I'll give it that. It was, like, they made a cool mask, and it looked worn, and they did a good job there. Jamie Lee Curtis came back. She played a good version of herself, kind of a badass, preparing for him to come back. But the way that it was executed, I didn't like. And a lot of the choices, like small choices, like the moment. I haven't even seen it in a while, so I don't. In the bathroom. Yeah, I don't completely remember everything. It's been a while, like all the specific moments. But 2 that are burned in my head out of my hatred of it is the podcasters that have his mask that go to see him in this asylum, and they hold it up and you feel its power, Michael, don't you? Like, so stupid. And then the bathroom scene where he killed somebody and pulled all their teeth out and was trying to scare somebody and just dropped it in the stall. That was so stupid. I think I mentioned in one of the other things that I did that's not something. I don't think a shapeless evil void would do that. That's like a deranged modern day serial killer. That's like a biker. Like, I'm gonna pull all your fucking teeth out. Yeah, Rob, I'm surprised that wasn't even in Rob Zombie's version, which is surprising. Yeah. That's fitting for his movies.
No, yeah, it's funny how whenever they do remakes, or what would you call that? Not a remake, but a reboot.
A reboot.
Yeah, reboot or whatever. When they do that, it's always the weirdest part to me. Like, let's say Dumb and Dumber, and you're like, wait, why do they make him retarded now? Like, it's funny how, like, when they change the character, it seems like that would be the easiest part to get right, would be the character. But yeah, I agree that they that was not something he would do, or that from at least in the movies, the first movies, you know what I mean? Something so calculated like that. But it's strange how they get. Whenever you see them get that wrong, that's when you're like, okay, this movie probably is not going to be. This will be an interesting movie. This is slightly different, so I'm not going to say it'll be bad, but
that. I mean, I guess it depends on what version of the character you're running with, but if you take the original, which should be the main one, and then some of the sequels, he's literally just emotionless, shapeless, evil. If he pulls somebody's teeth out and drops them to scare somebody, that's not emotionless. That's like he's trying to intimidate somebody and scare them or whatever. Like, that's not an evil thing to do. That's like a deranged serial killer, psycho thing to do. I wouldn't even say he's a psycho. He's just an evil force.
Right.
That's what he's supposed to be. That's what, kind of how Loomis speaks of him. He had the devil's eyes, the blackest eyes. All that stuff.
Yeah, no.
The clues are in the first one, which should be the main one you use.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was didn't make any sense. I didn't watch the. You've seen more Halloween movies than me. I've seen Halloween's 1, 2, 3, age 20 a little bit, like when it used to be on TNT every day, or Fox or whatever it was. But and then I did see that the first of the new ones. I've only ever saw like bits and pieces of the Rob Zombie ones. But you're certainly. And then of course I saw like a little dude. I was like, I was running over a parking cone. Sorry, guys. I was like, fucking, I'm killing somebody as we're doing this.
Speaking of Michael Myers, you're still in character.
Right. I did see, like, also bits and pieces of the little girl Jamie with, like, the scissors and the mask. Was that, like, 4 or 5? At the top of the stairs, at the end of the movie, and they're like, oh, she's... Okay, yeah. I saw pieces in those. Actually, I didn't hate those. I like those... But I can't say, obviously I didn't see the whole movie, so I'm not a huge fan or something, but I remember not hating them. Obviously, I love Halloween 1 and 2. Even 3 I kind of like, just because it's weird. But I'm very familiar with 1, 2, and 3. I just, you are like almost a historian more of like the other ones, and I liked Cult of Thorn too a little bit when you were telling me about that and explaining it to me, and just because it kind of played in with the third one slightly, Season of the Witch, with like Stonehenge, and also 3 like kind of Samhain, and so I felt like that was pretty cool. But the funniest thing to me about all that is, well, not the funniest thing, I don't even know, that's how I talk, I guess. Dramatic, overly dramatic speaker. But with fan films, it's if you try to do anything to change anything, like it's crazy to me how upset fans get. Particularly the one that I think of the most is, Prometheus, when that came out, and I was just like, oh my god, this is awesome. Finally they're like they're explaining more and all this, and they showed the alien at the end, to give you that, and this is like perfect. And then to hear that like a lot of people hated it, that it didn't have aliens the whole time, and it just kind of like, what? Well, we already seen the aliens, we know, it had them at the end, that's like the perfect continuation of the next one, but nope, it didn't have enough aliens, so like obviously I'm sure with the Jamie storyline, or obviously Season of the Witch, Halloween 3, you just they want Myers, and actually with the ones that you told me about right when you were telling me you wanted to do this, actually Stalks and stuff, I watched them and they looked like great Michael Myers films, but and in the sense that they reminded me a lot of like 1. There wasn't a lot of like lore or mythology, but I think that's what a lot of fan films are probably like, just like you're in that universe, and they're not going to try to, at least the ones that we saw in like film school too, I think we saw a couple of Star Wars ones, and it was always just like, them in Star Wars, it wasn't like a, so anyways, yeah, I don't know, I think that's fan films, fans, that's, I'm not really sure what to think about all that. I don't know. I guess I had a lot of fun doing this with you. I feel like, again, like a lot of stuff we do has fan film vibes because we do so many parodies and paying homage to certain things that we love. But yeah, it was a lot of fun doing this with you, man.
Yeah, dude, it was up until present. I don't know. Obviously, the future is going to change that, but up until the present, it was the best time I've ever had making something. So both in terms of like satisfaction of the product and actually making it, like I just loved it. It was so much fun to do, and it I don't know, like everything just clicked and worked.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry. Yeah, I totally agree.
Well,
should we talk about you guys? Sorry, I always want to take the reins.
Well, just gonna some of the things you brought up. I'm gonna skip over Prometheus because you don't want to get me started on that.
Yeah,
don't
you
get
got a
me
video
started
on it,
on
so
that. Yeah,
you can watch the video.
I've talked about that enough, and that's why you don't want to get me started because I never get tired of it. Yeah. In terms of fan films, well, the whole franchise, I have seen literally all of them. I like or not all of them. 1 through 6, I like, all for different reasons. H2O, I should include H2O on that. So 1 through 7, Resurrection, crap, but it's still fun to watch sometimes. I do like Rob Zombie's, although I don't like his second one. I just think that was, and apparently there's reasons for that. You know, it's not exactly what he wanted, the studio interference, and I think there's kind of a rumor that he purposely made it shitty to like mess with the studio. Well, I'm sure he didn't make it, shitty, but he was doing things to kind of jerk him around, which I guess ultimately led to a movie that wasn't that great. And the Blumhouse trilogy, I can watch 2018. After seeing Kills and Ends, I can't watch those ever again. I just hate those so much. Terrible. So you didn't miss anything. I wouldn't recommend ever watching them.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, if I was gonna say, because like I said, I like all of them for different reasons. I'll watch all of them, minus those two. If I was gonna say what is the best the franchise has, obviously that's 1 and 2 to me. That's like, which of course that's the first one, the sequel. As you go down the line, it's hard for those to get better. But what the franchise has to offer, Michael Myers, it's just 1 and 2. That's the bread and butter of it. So it just has everything you need, everything the character has. It's got all the OGs. So yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. But in terms of fan films, you mentioned something about messing with the lore, and that reminds me of something Dominic did say, which he intentionally, or with his opinion, he thought messing with the lore wasn't his position to do, or he felt like he didn't have the right to do that. But he said that Mask of Evil does mess with the lore a little bit, but he said we did it in such a way that it didn't mess anything up. Like, it was just the perfect way to like fit it in there, to add that little extra that works perfectly, doesn't disturb anything. So I mean, that's a compliment.
I saw that part. I agreed with him. We didn't add anything. We just put it together.
Yeah, we kind of made it point, like those pieces were already there. We just kind of made it point to something that hasn't ever been done, which is him looking for his original mask. Which I don't think you can argue that that's not a like original cool idea, but I do think certain fans, while acknowledging like, oh whoa, like I haven't seen that before, I know there's probably certain people that are like, oh, that's so stupid, why does he look for his own clown mask?
Oh, well, I mean,
but that's like, I think that's a smaller percentage, but I know there are people that probably feel like that. And honestly, some of the other fan filmmakers, I feel like they're probably like that.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, when I hear that Prometheus or the Covenant sucked because of the fan backlash from Prometheus, it just makes me like, well, now I'm scared of fans. Now I'm scared. Like, I feel like fans are almost unforgiving, and I think so to hear that like there's people that make fan films and then the fans, I feel like fan films really are fan films. Like, fans love fan films typically because they have everything the fan wants.
Yeah.
Typically. So I get it. Now I'm getting it now a little more, and I think that's what we always would have done. I mean, we would have never tried to, anytime, like I said, we've made many movies that aren't technically fan films, but where we almost take the dialogue directly and just, copy and paste new words just because it's so perfect the way it is, and we want to pay our respects to that and make it different, which is kind of what I feel like you did with yours. Just take what was and pay your respects. And but yeah, no, I mean, it's funny. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody didn't like that. I mean, people hate everything. It's just I'm rambling. Save me.
If there's any indication of the YouTube likes, I mean, you can go right now and look. I think it has like 338 or something. And the dislikes, last time I checked, it could be a little bit more now, but I think it was 12. So that's a pretty damn good ratio, 338 versus 12.
Oh, that's a great ratio. Yeah.
It's like on the percentage, I think it's like 95%. Like, that's great. There's always going to be people that don't like something, so you can't avoid that. But to have anything above 90% is incredible. So clearly a lot of people do like that. Right.
Especially in that context. I mean, if you put out a Donald Trump video in a woke left place and it gets 1,000 dislikes and 2 likes, in that context, that's a good for that person, right? Because that's whatever. But in the context, I mean, that's awesome. And I read all the comments, even when you first put it out, and when you put it out again, that's been another huge part. I'm not scared of fans. I've loved. I think, speaking for you too, anybody that watches anything we do is like, we love that person so much just for even watching it, So for somebody to actually enjoy it is like, just like the biggest. It makes you feel like you got a purpose a little bit. And for me, I mean, last time I'll bring it up, but like, I'm doing what God wanted me to do, and it's just a very fulfilling, and we certainly love doing it. It's the only thing that we like to do. So it just, even somebody watching it is huge. So that, reading everything you got from that dude was like pretty special, So
yeah, and it is like doing what we did with that, or adding that little element to the story. It's sort of a risk, if you want to call it that, but I'm glad that it was vastly positive, because it was kind of a risk. And just because the fact that there's so many fan films and like is a huge community, if you tweak things a little too far a certain way, it could just be all negative, which happens to studio films all the time. It's just they go too far out of the lane into something else, and it's just universally hated. So it's awesome that wasn't the case for that. And it's not only that, but it literally hasn't been done like that.
Yeah, I didn't find it to be off the beaten path at all, really. I mean, it felt right in the. I mean, I think, like we say, we got really lucky with that. I mean, honestly, even without it, when you first called me and you were like, "Hey, dude, I know what movie I want to make next." I suddenly got this. I'm paraphrasing, but suddenly, I think maybe you saw something or something, but you're like, "Dude, this Halloween festival is coming up here, and all I can think about is taking Violet through it, and Michael Myers stalking us, and me and you, and we come back and he kills us." Like, that's what I got in my head. Just like a lot of times when we talk, and I'm like, "Hey, I got this in my head. What are you thinking?" And you give me a beautiful little golden nugget like you did last time, and vice versa. I think probably the difference is that I'll help you with dialogue a little more, because you would probably admit you're not the best dialogue-y writer guy, but
anybody that's watching, first of all, Cole's an amazing writer, but yes, my weak point is dialogue followed by actually sitting down to write the damn script. It takes me forever to do that.
Having time too. I have a lot more time in my hands than you, but and anybody watching, I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for this guy, for starters. But
likewise,
if you like any one of my films, it's probably because he's in it, and it's probably because he thought of the funniest fucking joke in it. So I'm best friend. I think this was destiny, buddy boy. But we talk about that a lot when we're fucking. But anyways, you said that to me, and I happened to be working at the Halloween store at that time. And what was weird to me was, like, I had already planned on calling you at some point and saying, "Hey, dude, they got really cool fucking they just came out with the kid Michael Myers mask and costume, which I just thought was cool.
Yeah.
And I wanted to like tell you that, just a fucking like maybe Violet kid, whatever. And then you told me that, and then I really was like, dude, fucking, do you know I'm working at this Halloween store and they got the kid mask from the original film? Like, how sick is that? And it just went from there. You know, that was like stars aligned on that one, and obviously when the writing happens at first, it's going to be like pure comedy. So there's a couple strict scripts on that, which I thought were all pretty good and funny, but ultimately you're like, hey, dude, tone down the comedy and me and you being crazy and stick to like my original story, you know, of us at the Halloween Festival of Violet, and that's what I want. And then you told me more about like how you wanted Katie dead, and or sorry, your wife, whoever her name was in the film.
Yeah.
I keep calling her Violet. What's her name in the movie? Sophie.
Her name is Wench. That was her name.
You're gonna be in the doghouse. But no. So yeah, and then obviously I will say, like you said, being a huge fan, and 1 and 2 is probably your favorite. I'm a fucking huge fan, and I've actually done a Halloween 2 fan film per se with when Hunter Biden's laptop, all that stuff was coming out, which turned out to be real. But I did one where the guy who was kind of investigating that was Loomis from Halloween 2, and it was literally just the scene from Halloween 2, only Michael Myers was like a physical laptop. And so obviously when he told me, one of the other first thoughts I had was like, who's Loomis? We got to get Loomis in this shit. Loomis, because to me, Loomis is probably my favorite character aside from Michael. I mean, maybe tied with Michael. So, and you were like, man, I don't know if Loomis is going to work. I don't know. And I was like, well, you might have an opportunity now that he has the mask, if, you know, because you live in Arizona. And guys, if you haven't seen Duende out there, anybody who's listening, he shot that in Arizona too. Michael's film before Halloween. Won awards. Personally, I think it's pretty comparable. You know, somebody might even say it's just as good or better. Somebody might say that. So check that out.
Who says that?
Not me. No, it's really good. But anyways, that's in Arizona. We love shooting in Arizona. It's just a really great place to shoot. I love Arizona, and you can get away with a lot of shit. But there's so many dilapidated houses out there and stuff that I think I'd mentioned that to you, that maybe he comes back and Loomis is waiting at the house, and like, I like that. Yeah. And then we shot the whole movie, right? And then you called me like after we finished filming, I think, like, and you're like, hey, I figured it out. And I was like, what? And you're like, we can do a Loomis scene if we go there, and fucking, I'll put the Cult of Thorn on the wall, and we got the perfect like setup, and so and I was like, dude, fuck yeah, bro. Like, so I came back down to just to finish that. That was the last thing we shot, right?
That was the last thing, yep.
Yeah, so we just did that ditty, and obviously couldn't keep the camera on my face because it was just too many characters. We just figured it out too quick. But
that is kind of a funny. It's not even a blooper, but we shot the shit out of that scene, and it's funny because it's just one shot at the end. But we shot so many angles of that. And it's awesome. You did a great performance, but it's just so evident that it's you.
Right.
Like, that was the whole issue.
Myself.
That was the whole issue with me initially being reluctant to like putting Loomis in, because I'm just like, how are we gonna do that? I don't want to have like a bald cap and like a fake goatee. Like, it has to be somebody that actually looks. You
figured out the blocking. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So at the end, I just realized like it needs something, and then that scene, that Loomis coming is actually perfect. It's just we have to shoot it a certain way where you don't see his face, and I think it worked out awesome. Totally, yeah, I think so too. Because literally that trench coat he wears, it's just as iconic as, you know, how he actually looks. And that's another, if you ever hear stars align, I've said a couple times, that's just something Mike and I say to each other when like this crazy miracle happens as we're shooting, where we're like, what? We weren't expecting that. We didn't have a Loomis jacket the day that I drove all the way to Arizona, like 5-6 hours to do this. We realized I forgot the jacket or something, and we went to Goodwill, like locally. It's funny because it's also heavily in the film. Yeah, and they had 5. Somebody that morning had brought in 5 better than the jacket that I had, and literally identical to the one Loomis had in 1 and 2.
5 Loomis jackets were brought in that morning. So it's just, I mean, that's where I'm like, okay, this is God is here, and you're going to hell. So you were like, that's cool. He's no, I'm joking. But I'm trying to change him, you guys. I'm trying to bring him to the light, but.
That was the kicker to that too, because that guy, the checkout guy, specifically mentioned like, "Oh, like these are nice coats. These just came in this morning."
That's one of the crazier stars aligned moments that we've ever had. I think probably maybe the craziest for it to be that specific.
Yeah. I can't believe it. I was fully expecting we go there and we'd have to be like, "Oh my god, I guess this will have to do," you know. But we found literally what he wore. His signature's probably in that. I just need to look at it.
Oh God, yeah, man, crazy, dude.
Yeah, and speaking of the whole mask thing, that was something that you would come up with.
No. Well, before you said, sorry, and this is how we talk on the phone too. Everybody, he starts and I cut him off, and I talk for another 10 minutes. That's just how nice he is and calm and patient. But no. Another thing you told me is how dedicated you were to that mask and how much time you spent on making it. And honestly, as not being too focused on stuff like that, typically, that's who I am. I'm just really focused on like the story or whatever. I wasn't too like concerned about that, and I was kind of like, oh yeah, okay, cool mask, right? And you know, you're saying how important it is. Like each movie has a different mask, and it has to be good, and this and that. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay. So this, you know, I'm just like, to me, I wasn't like, and you, like I said, you know way more about the history than I do. But when I actually saw the mask and we went to the Halloween festival and every single person was like freaking out about it and everybody else had Halloween masks and like just how much better yours looked by like a mile, particularly on camera too. It's just that has to be said, like that impressed me. I was impressed by that. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, that's
he made that mask himself, everybody. Sorry.
Well, I didn't sculpt it, and you know, they call it rehauling. There's a whole rabbit hole with Michael Myers masks, and they call it rehauling, which is basically you redo it. You take it down to the sculpt and the rubber, and you repaint it, you rehair it, you know, do some detail work, cut out, you know, make adjustments like that. And it literally is there's a community dedicated just to that. But ultimately, there's so many fan films where people just go to Spirit Halloween, buy the mask, and they start shooting.
Yeah.
It just, first of all, those don't look like the masks for the movie. They're close in terms of the design, but like the paint work and the hair always looks terrible. You have to do stuff to it. And
see, I wouldn't have expected that. I would have thought it would have been pretty the same.
Well,
but
I mean,
boy, I was dead wrong about that.
Yeah, it's pretty clear if you see one that's been done compared to like one you buy at the store. But it's also like if you want to hire somebody that's talented at doing that, there's literally people that's like all they're known for it. It's expensive. It's like $300, and that's a good deal. So me being me, I was like, oh my god, I'm not going to spend $300 on that. So I just did it myself, and I just kind of looked up some tips, and it's actually not that. If anyone else wants to do that out there, if you buy the 78 Trick or Treat Studios mask, all you got to do is remove some of the paint with like a lacquer thinner, repaint it however you want. You know, there's different styles. You can have that little peach area, or just make it all white. And then you just rip off the hairline and re-glue it. And you can try to like look at pictures.
That sounds so difficult, everything you're saying.
It's actually not. It's not. It's basically, wow. It's a paint job, and you rip off the hair and re-glue it to like look better. And there's more you can do, but that's the basics of it.
Yeah, and you've always been really good at that. You did that with some films that we did in college. You would build like legit props for a gun and stuff like that. That always impressed me. And actually, that wasn't the only thing you built with this film. You did research and found out how to make a effective like knife through the body, and also plunging the
two stab effects.
Right.
Which both of those literally didn't turn out how I wanted, but I still was able to salvage them.
Well, they look good to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the good thing, but literally both of those, like, I could tell when, and that's the problem with like you do that, and it's like you have a limited amount of times you can do it. It's basically like twice, and then you're done, unless you have multiple things set up. So I did it twice each time, and I don't know. It still worked. Part of that is me like cropping in and like it's very short, but technically both of those were not as good as they could have been.
No, I don't give you enough props about that. You know, even on Duendes, that got the biggest when we saw his film before Halloween, when we watched that at the film fest. The biggest reaction was that practical effect that you made of the wood stabbing through my body. You made all that.
Yeah.
Plus, and I didn't even as we're doing it, I mean, you know, I'm realizing now how much I like that about your films that you make, that you actually make practical effects. And I never gave you props for that, or like really, I kind of, actually, there's even been times where I've been like, I showed up and like, dude, you didn't tell me how to fucking do that. You know, like I'm Mr. Jealous and always trying to, you know, thinking about myself. But looking back on that, you're very, I'm real, like, because I think like, oh, I bought a shit wig and I got shit props and we're throwing each other on the ground. That's a cool practical effect. But what's cool about yours is you build them, like you create them just like they did back in the day. And I think that's, and to me, looks 1,000 times better than a special effect. And I just never really, that didn't click in my head until right now. Like, fuck this, you're actually making the fucking 80s practical effects, dude.
Well,
props.
Practice what I preach. I love those effects. They don't do it enough.
Totally agree.
But I wish I could do more.
I can't watch a lot of movies now because it just feels like I'm watching somebody play video games. But
yeah, I mean that's been the hold up with my next project is
right.
I know I need all these effects that I want to do. I'm like, I don't know how to do most of them, so I got to figure that out.
Yeah, I like that about that you do that. You throw yourself in the furnace, and I just wouldn't have time to. I mean, not time. I don't have the mental. It's not my toolbox mentally to have that patience to like learn something and execute. You know, so yeah, it's. You guys haven't seen Duende. If you haven't, anybody listening, or go back on. I mean, did you do any of those in Amercon? I think those were more just. Sorry, you're gonna get me way off the beaten path. I'm getting myself off that beaten path. Sorry, guys. Guide me here. How am I doing?
Honestly, with Amercon, no, there wasn't. I had some practical stuff, but there was actually. I mean, there's a lot of VFX in that movie.
Right.
That was above my ability, so I hired somebody to make them. But
I guess I'm thinking of like the cool suits in the location. Those to me feel practical. You know.
Yeah, it was not really green screen. It was on location, actually in a cave with suits and stuff. But yeah, with Mask of Evil, I don't remember quite how it came up, but you had that idea of he's looking for his original clown mask.
Well, that's you just. I was working at the Halloween store. When you asked me that, when you told me you were going to make this with, or you wanted to make this with.
Yeah, I just don't remember exactly how they came up. I do know that I mean, you know, as we normally do, we're continuously talking about ideas and we're just like mashing them together. And I don't know. Yeah. I guess there's not like a clear explanation. It worked, and I know you came up with that, and that was, again, the stars aligned.
Stars align, yep. No, I was going to say something. It escapes me now. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, that's what I wanted to say about that, but is there anything you wanted to say about, or anything you've been wanting to say about the project, or how it went?
Not really. I just want to say thank you to everybody who watched it. And oh my goodness, all the positive comments are, even the bad comments are, if there's any, I didn't even really read any. And usually I'm not into comments, but fan film, and I just want to say thanks to everybody who checked it out and enjoyed it. And it was a ton of fun to make. That was my favorite part too. The Loomis scene was my favorite part. I'll say that.
Actually, I got a question, and since this was a big part
of it. Thank you. Please, I ramble. Sorry, guys.
I just wanted to give you an opportunity if there's anything, but you know, right off the bat. But you played Michael Myers. How was that?
Oh, that was really fun. I mean, because I like to, I make movies, I make comedy shorts, like South Park style stuff, and Michael can tell you more than anybody, I'm a huge control freak. I'm very, also I'm obsessed with movies. I love directing, so I think probably the only part that was like difficult for me was to constantly remind myself that, like, okay, I'm here to act. I'm not here to, do anything other than act. And you allowed me to feel really comfortable doing that. And that struck out to me when we were making it more so than the other movie, that because usually we pretty much know. I mean, we always know what's going on, but I don't know. I think there was a moment in this one where you kind of were like, hey, I got this. This is what I want from you. I just want you to be 1,000% whatever you think yourself. Just be yourself. And well, obviously with Michael Myers, you're just put on the mask, feel Michael, be Michael. And so I had fun. I had fun playing Michael. It was the breathing. I have slight asthma, so that kind of just started happening because I'm terrible with masks. I can't breathe. So then when that started happening and feeling that Michael breath sounds, I was kind of like, ooh, that's kind of cool. So, but no, it was a blast, man. I really had a lot of fun acting in this one because you allowed me to be a little goofy, which I like. Not as Michael, as Dean. You allowed me to be a little silly, which I was. I'm not an actor. I'm not pretending to be. I have too much respect, but I certainly love acting, and I try my hardest. So I had a lot of fun acting in this one because you kind of were like, it's okay if you do whatever you want,
Yeah, and you as Michael Myers, I know we were playing around with the walk. I just wanted to see how you would walk.
You kept saying that as we were doing it. We'd be shooting, and you'd just be like, bro, you look so good as him right now, man. You're making the noises. I'm like, oh, really? Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm getting at. Before we really started shooting, I just wanted to see that, and I didn't really have to tell you anything. You were just doing it. You were somehow perfectly in my mind embodying him. And then as we were shooting, you started doing doing those, and I didn't say, yeah, do the Michael breaths. You were just doing it, and I was like, oh my god, it's perfect. And a lot of them are in the film mixed with his breath, from the film. But
yeah, I remember we were shooting Duendes, and I was filming you as the troll, sewing up the human toes by the fire pit, and it's you alone, and I'm shooting, and I'm just sitting there for a minute, and you go, rolling? And I'm like, oh, fuck, sorry, I was just looking at a troll in the middle of the woods sewing up toes. I kind of got lost. I remember when I was choking the guy out as Michael Myers in the pool, I'm like, or whatever the fuck,
yeah.
And you're like, and I haven't even heard anything from you, and I go, bro, are you fucking, you're like, oh, sorry, Michael Myers is choking me out in the water here. It's kind of crazy.
That
I was like, oh, okay.
That was for sure one of those moments where I got lost in it. I was just like, oh my god, I'm watching Michael Myers do this. It's even more so when it's an established character. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because
sure.
you're I've watched I've seen all the films. Since as long as I can remember, I've watched these films. I'm now I'm watching it and I'm filming it. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I remember being like, what the fuck are you doing on there? And it made me think of when I was filming you as Duende and I got tripped out for a second.
Yeah, and it's a...
And I think that's the best, at least I think you agree to, the best thing that happens when you're shooting, I said that kind of gay, the best thing that happens when you're shooting is that you either get the other person to laugh or somebody there to laugh, or something like that happens. You have an out-of-body kind of thing where you black out or whatever. And that's when when you come back and you're like, oh, we made somebody laugh, or dude, I totally fucking blacked out. That'd be awesome, or something. So that was a fun part about it. Shooting that project was the occasional blackouts, and being Michael or doing the Loomis scene was really fun at night.
Yeah.
I think that night went a little long. I remember that's where I just got a little tired. But
well, yeah, like I said, we shot the shit out of it for no reason.
Yeah.
Because it was one shot. That's all we used. But it was kind of one of those things because it just looks so awesome. Even you, that, we could see your face. It just, everything looked awesome. So we're just getting all this coverage, even though we both knew, I'm pretty sure that it was probably just going to be that one shot. It was just we're having fun with it.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah,
A lot of fun, that project. I mean, I would say we've had fun on a lot of projects, but you know, as much as we say fun, fucking it sucks. I hate making it. Always sucks to a certain extent. It sucks, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I just was totally Debbie Downer right there, but
No, it does. It's not always, you know, you're not always smelling roses. It's very difficult a lot of times. Sometimes it's the opposite of fun. You're like, oh my God, this is terrible. Like, we need to get moving or do something else because I'm gonna go crazy. That's just part of the process.
I'm only saying that because, God forbid, like a relative watches this and they're like, I knew this fucker was having fun doing all that shit. You know, I want them to remember that it's not that fun, but it's fun. It's really fun. The blackouts and the laughing, that's what make it all worthwhile. And of course, the finished product. And
it's just something it's always bittersweet because you'll have awesome moments and then other times it's just terrible. But and it's also weird because you have those blackout moments where it's like it's so good, it's happening in real time, it's magic if you want to call it that, and then there's other times where you're like, that was absolutely terrible, and then sometimes it is, and other times like you were, for whatever reason, like it looks like perfect on camera, everything's great, but it's just like in the moment it didn't feel right, but it's actually perfect. Like that happens equally as much, which is kind of weird because you would think like that if it doesn't feel right, then it's just not right, but that's not always the case.
Yeah, and that's why I actually got to say too that that's why I love working with you, because you're so personalities can clash too when you shoot, and your calm demeanor and my like neurotic like we got to go on, let's go to you're good at calming me down in those cases, and I think I'm good at like pumping you up slightly, and it goes without saying too that and everybody watching out there couldn't have made the movie without Josh and Bates, and I mean there's so many people that we could just talk about all day, but we wouldn't be here because of these people. No man is an island. We have a lot of help, and you know, I personally want to just like rocket off names right now, like Johnny, Joe, you know, everybody and stuff, but specifically because we're talking about Halloween, couldn't have made it without Bates and Josh. I mean, they absolutely nailed it, and those two guys are another two guys that are so fun to work with, so down to do 1,000 takes, and that's a huge part about it, is everybody there down to do 1,000 takes, because me personally, I'm down for like 2 takes or 3 before I'm like, fuck this, we got to go, otherwise I'm going to like want to go watch, just go on with my life. But so you help a lot with that, and anyway, so I just want to put it out there that Bates and Josh, we couldn't have done that without them, and they're so fun to work with, and that was another really fun day. They're shooting every time we shoot with them is so fucking fun, because their energy is almost like, I think we're a little more jaded almost than them. They have like such a crazy creative energy of like, innocence is the wrong word, but they're so like gung-ho about creating. So just want to toss it out there. Bates is a movie maker, Josh is his actor friend, and we love working with them a lot.
Yeah, and they absolutely crushed their roles. They're awesome. Bates also makes films. He's a very interesting guy, and he's definitely an auteur in his own right. I don't know if that's weird to say that, you know, at this level, but he's someone, or at least you can see the makings of that, you know, in the stuff he makes so far. Anybody who makes really unique stuff, regardless of your opinion, like, because not everyone likes, you know, David Lynch or these guys that are more
right.
You know, not everyone likes that, but you can't say they're not an auteur. So that's the thing with being that, is you can be so specific that you have a huge fan base and like that's your art, but there's, you know, not everyone's gonna like that. So he's definitely someone that's like that. And Josh is
say no more.
He's still he's just down to do everything. He's still in the beginnings of it, but you're right.
And
couldn't have done it without them. And yeah, their attitude. They're just you've worked with them more, honestly, but I've never seen them like, they always have a good vibe. I've never seen them like, you know, throwing bad vibes. They're always just like, yeah, what's the next shot? Let's go.
Yeah, and you're what Malcolm was, or Dominic was. I don't know why the fuck that keeps happening. Maybe Malcolm and Dominic are the two guys from Gears of War. I think that's the confusion. But he was talking about working with a big crew and stuff like that, and that's certainly the goal. But in the time being, when we don't have that, I'm so grateful to have you and all the people around me that help both of us, and because of their vibes. Because I've been on big crews like he was mentioning that have been amazing, but I've also been on big crews where it's like nobody gives a fuck about this movie. They're in like 10 different conversations. I got here a director talking to the lead actor, and 2 feet away the crew's like talking about something. It just and when you have a small group like that where everybody has got the same, because usually the big saying is, well, nobody's ever going to feel the same way you feel about something. Well, we got lucky where it's like this small group of dudes we all feel the same way. I mean, we have different personalities and whatever, but we're all crazy passionate, and that's all of our attention and focus is on this thing. And I think that's why the stars align. We get away with it, because we do have a very small, dedicated group of very passionate people. And I think that is that can create things that a large group of, half are passionate, half are just there for money or whatever, and I don't know that for sure or anything like that, but all I can say is I want to thank those guys for all the help that they've given us, and I can't wait to make more movies, all of us. It's like you said, we don't get paid, we don't need to get paid. This is it's the only thing we love to do, so go ahead.
There's definitely something to be said about, and I had this feeling with certain things I was bringing up with Dominic, trying to be objective and saying this. There is something to be said about doing what we did on a film like that with nobody. It was just literally me and you made that film. There's no other crew. Obviously, Violet, my daughter, Anthony and Josh, during their scenes, they were acting. But in terms of like the actual making of the film, that was just me and you. It was either on a tripod, or I was filming you, or you were filming me. And it's honestly like that because it is what it is. Like, it's just easier to get things done a lot of the times instead of waiting on or trying to get other people. Especially, we're kind of at the level where most people, if you get them, like, they're not just going to do it for free, understandably. And we want to pay them. It's just like, well, we don't have the money or the budget to do that, which brings us back to like, well, we'll just do it ourselves. But so in my case, I want a crew, not a huge crew with stuff I don't think is, but like just someone to shoot it, and whatever they need to get that done, by all means, I want that, like, because it's more freeing, especially, well, first of all, I'm not a DP, so lighting and stuff, I barely get by doing that. But assuming, like, if I'm acting in a role also, I don't want to have to be filming it, and, I don't want either of us to have to do that if we don't have to. So that's where I'm coming from with it. But, we do what we got to do, I guess. And I do think it's impressive if somebody, especially when you compare and contrast, what you can achieve with no crew, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly... I'd never do that. I mean, we make different stuff in that regard. Like, you will set up, like, the Loomis scene or any scene, you set up lights.
Yeah, there's lights.
And even that, for me, can become and you're doing that all yourself, and you don't even really want to do that. I do none of that, so I lost my train of thought, dude. I'm sorry, buddy. Fuck. I don't know, but what were you just saying? I was going to say something, but...
Just about crew size and getting stuff done with the crew without one, comparing and contrasting.
Oh yeah, comparing and contrasting. I don't even do that because I'm just not into. If I compare it, I know it's not going to look as good. But if that's what you're saying, that's awesome. That it does hold up and all that. I know I fucking enjoyed it. and I saw the comments, and that's all I got to know, really, for me to feel good, is that I enjoyed it. And it seems like they really liked it. But, you know, I've almost completely erased that from my mind, that whole, like, the thoughts of worrying about things that I can't even do a crew right now. So I'm just going to, you know, and that's another thing in your skill set that I don't have, like, on how things can look nicer and basically all that, how to make it look like a movie. So it, I don't know, dude. I thought it was really good, and I'm so happy that the people loved it, dude. But comparing and contrasting, I'm happy to hear that it's. I mean, dude, the fucking head of fucking Halloween called you. You know what I mean? That's crazy to me. So that just blew my mind when you told me that day. I was like, oh, like what the fuck? That's so cool. But you know,
yeah, it ended up in a spot I never thought it would be, but it depends on the project. There's just certain things you can't do without a crew, but
I mean, yeah, I mean, you could even compare and contrast. I mean, dude, like, it's funny when I hear you say that about the no crew. It's like, I know so much about you. I know Duendes didn't have a crew. I know you made some pretty fucking awesome shit without a crew that, to me, somebody could say, like I already said earlier, that it might even be better than Halloween. So, like, I'm such a believer in what you can do and the power of the stars aligning. So I just love it, man. And actually, that stuff I don't think about that much as compared to, you know, you and that's actually, I'm a little bit freaked out about your next project, because you're doing all that stuff again. It's gonna look really nice, and again, you're giving me this character who's got a range of fucking, like, fuck, I'm the paranoid crazy guy again, like Duendes and Halloween, like, oh,
you got it.
So,
you got it.
well, I want to talk. I actually probably off camera or on camera, I don't fucking know, but probably off camera. I want to talk to you about that too, because of what you were thinking for that. But anyways, sorry, Halloween. I ramble. Anybody listening, I'm sorry. I'm not got off work. I'm rambling. Sorry.
Well, there's literally so much we could talk about. I think the last thing maybe we can talk about, unless something else pops in our head, is maybe some background on the like the Halloween festival, like us shooting that part.
Yeah. I mean, well, that was a tough day. That was probably the hardest part of it all, because when we showed up, we didn't have the mask, so Katie had to go drive back home and get it.
We'll do. I'll do a brief little thing on that.
Sure.
So we went to this festival during the day because I wanted daylight shots, which I got awesome shots. A lot of them are in the film. And
they were awesome.
Yeah, everyone awesome. They are. They look. Oh, I'm just saying. I was happy with what I got. Okay.
Yeah. That was so pretentious.
Because I have, even at the time, I still have a young daughter, but, like, you know, this was a year ago, so even younger. She wasn't with us, just because that would have been a whole other ordeal. So it was just me and you shooting that. This was during the day.
Yeah.
Then we're like, okay, we got to go back home, pick up Violet and the wife, bring them back down. And when we come back down, what is this film about? The Mask of Evil. The most important thing in the film, forgot it at the house. So after we got a perfect parking spot, had to leave that, go home again, go grab it. You know, we're burning daylight. And, of course, we had to park, like, way down the line because we couldn't get it. So that's a little story of that. Forgot the most important part of the movie.
Yeah, it was pretty stressful. I remember that was really stressful. Also, you wanted me to shoot you and Violet walking around. And I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. And then you're like, okay, here, go ahead, shoot it. And you handed me this device where, like, every time I turn left, the camera turns right. If I go, like,
it's called a gimbal.
A gimbal, sure. I went to film school, too, for 4 years. Sorry, Dad. But I remember just being like, oh, no. I'm not going to be able to shoot anything with this, man. And you're like, no, like it keeps it smooth. That's why it is. I'm like, no, but I can't learn this right now. Like, so just take it off and I'm pretty pro at keeping this still now after 10 years of, so I felt like it was relatively still, and I knew for a fact I was getting good coverage because you guys were just walking around getting candy and shit, and everybody was in a cool costume. So I was like, oh, this looks great. I remember I just kept saying, this looks really awesome, man. So, and then the dancing Michael Myers was pretty hilarious. I like to dance, as you know, so
which
you got a little...
that was a stars aligned moment because
yeah.
You being you started a dance off. If that was me, for example, and that guy started doing that, it's not like I'd start dancing with him. So
right.
That's the difference. So, bravo to you. I'm glad you were, because you started a little dance off, and it was a nice little piece of footage.
Yeah, that was cool. And I'm actually not the most social guy, so being in this big social area, with that I danced for a little bit, but not as much as I normally would have if it wasn't so like cameras and so many people, and I didn't have a Michael Myers mask on with.
Honestly, so. I do wish you would have gone on a little longer, but I mean, we were in the middle of shooting. So.
I know. Well, he fucking started like twerking and shit, and I'm doing like actual dance moves, and it got to the point where I'm like, well, come on, twerking is not like, I'm like, well, what the fuck? Like, how do I clap back to this guy like humping the ground? Fucking A. So yeah, fuck you, you bastard.
Well, it was a good experience. It did get hectic because of that happening. We were limited on time, and that event ends at some point. Moral of the story is
Should I say the Katie part? That got me all...
I don't even remember the Katie part, so yeah, please.
No, when you didn't have the mask. No, I'm gonna get in trouble if I say it. But when we showed up and you didn't have the mask.
Oh,
and she was pissed. Yeah. She was so pissed. But then I got pissed because I was like, "Why are you getting like? We gotta fucking walk around this, And I remember I was like whispering, basically like. Then you had to deal with two pissed people, So I was like, "Okay, wait, calm down, dude, because he's already got to deal with a lot here." But yeah, she was pissed, and that added a little bit to it too. Love Katie. Where's my Katie at?
She's in the other room. We're all pissed. To an extent, because we were losing shooting time. She was losing, this also applies to me, but as a family, we were losing, her time to be trick-or-treating and stuff, which at the same time, we're shooting a movie, so disappointment all around.
Yeah. So, everybody listening, as we're making a movie where I drove all the way out to go do this and doing all this stuff, he's still being a dad, and taking time in between shots to, change Violet's costume just to get pictures for and of course I was like freaking out about that and like, come on, let's go, we're making a movie here, not doing this, but you pulled it off, we're talking the nicest guy you've ever met. This guy, he's a great dad, and he's just moments like that where I'm like, wow, you can actually be a good person and make movies. That's cool. I can.
Well, part of it is it's a hybrid because we're shooting on location, obviously. And on location, but also on Halloween, using my actual daughter. It's her first Halloween. So it's like all these things wrapped into it. But we made it work. We gotta get
pictures. I'm like, get pictures. It's on for a fucking movie. Like,
yeah.
Well, anyways.
It was a family affair, and it worked out. But
yeah, it did.
I think that's we've covered a lot. We can keep going on and on. I do think we should plug what you do, though. What you mainly do.
Well, thanks, man.
Cold Gray Comedy.
Well, it's been that. It's Cold Gray sucks right now because I can't read comedy and not feel like, oh god, it's so that I can't feel pretentious or whatever the fuck. But so it's been that before. But right now it's Cold Gray sucks. And we just shot Hitchhiker Delivery, which I think it was freaking awesome. And I'll be there in a week to get a couple sound bites that I fucked up. But that was a blast. 2 police officers watched the final scene. Everybody listening, so that when you watch if you watch the final scene, I'd love it. And just to anybody who's a fan of anything we do, again, I just want to say thank you. I would not happily, but like I would suck your dick or eat your pussy, whatever it is, just to say thanks. Just to say thanks for watching it, or So, but yeah, Hitchhiker Delivery is coming out in a couple weeks. I do comedy films that are different genres, each one, but everyone is comedy. So, and Michael has been in probably over 80%, 90% of them, and has come up with some of the funniest jokes in a lot of them. So,
and what are you at now? How many videos have you done? Skits?
Well, probably like 200, but I've deleted like 25, which is another thing that's probably that's just again difference between you and I is that you're more calm and collected about that. I will abort something, which I've always regretted it. I don't suggest that to any independent filmmakers, or at least if you're going to delete it, really like.
Well, you take it a step further, like, some people are like, yeah, I'm just going to take it off the internet, or I'll unlist the video. You literally will delete every file on that thing, and it's just gone, vaporized. Yep, I delete it from hard drives and it's a pretty pathetic existence, everybody listening. But my life is pathetic. It is a shame because some of them you were right, I guess. Other ones you were like, oh shit, why did I delete that one? Oh yeah. It still bugs me. But anyways, I think the newest one is one of the better ones we've done, and we've done. I mean, again, so different than what you do, but if you like South Park, I think you'll really enjoy my channel. I hope. Yeah. But yeah, the newest one with you, man, that was a blast to do, and. I want to talk to you after this off camera about what you're doing next. But I know we're talking on Thursday, right? Yeah. Okay. But yeah. So if you're asking me about my channel, what I have to say is it's like South Park, offensive comedy, and to any fan that's ever liked any video or just watched, or you don't have to be a fan. If you guys watched anything I've made, I just want to say thank you so much. That's all I got to say, because it's the only thing. I mean, it means everything to me. So, but hopefully you guys will enjoy it if you like South Park. I'm not stopping, so they're just going to be there. And the last thing I'll say is what you'll notice about my newest videos, aside from like occasional different things, maybe every now and then, is that I'm trying to do my next 100 films all pizza delivery themed. And many different genres. So everything. I applaud that, but why? I will never know. Yeah, sorry. Well, I delivered pizza in college, and the material is just for anybody who delivers pizza. Like it's just there's so much material, and you can kind of like it's easy to write that too. You can kind of deliver into certain situations and whatnot. And I felt like it was a good plug for like Pizza Boy. Like that would be the name of my show or whatever. But anyways. So I want to get to 100 with that, and I'm trying something new where everything is one shot and one angle, so it's kind of like a play a little bit, which I just started maybe 2 videos ago, and I'm really, really enjoying it. It's kind of spicing it up for me because I've been doing the same thing for so long, so it added a little bit of spice. And we've both done one shot, one angle takes before, but the difference is that the whole movie is only this, and I'm really enjoying that, and it's kind of perfect for me in a way because I'm really just into the writing. And I mean, of the movies where it's more like multiple shots, I mean, I hope that they look good enough where it's like, okay, this guy at least knows what he's doing with angles and stuff, but you're never going to see like, oh my God, Stanley Kubrick lighting and, this like design and stuff. But I do not like, I don't try to shit, but so anyways, the newest films, they're all pizza delivery, all one angle, all kind of, longer format. So it's more on the writing and the performance. And I think that you like the new video, and thank you everybody who decides to watch. Yeah. Well, you've been crushing it. They're all hilarious, but there is, part of it is the change you just mentioned, but it's also, I don't know if you want to call it the prime, but the last,
Yeah.
all of them are funny again, but I don't know, the last 20 or so, like, or elevated, if you want to call it that. Just because you would think you would only get better if you keep doing it, or at least a better understanding or something. And I think that's true. Your last one was absolutely hilarious. This current one is hilarious and awesome, and it's not even done. And yeah, man, even if I'm not in them, I'm your biggest fan. So.
Oh man, thanks, Mike. Yeah, no, I'm. If you've ever thought this guy was funny, and you haven't seen him in one of my videos, you don't even know how fucking crazy this guy is. And you elevate my shit to. I mean, I don't want to say what it's. You make it so much better than it ever could be, and that's why I think that after. Well, not just that. I mean, we're best friends. That's another thing. But thanks, Mike, and couldn't do without you. Again, you make them so much better than they are, and I'm honored that I'm here in this earth, and I have you making my films better because, in my opinion, you have gifts from God that I get to kind of abuse. So let me abuse the shit out of me, bro. I being in your movies also is another thing that I really like because it's kind of like with the Jim Carrey and like when he started doing 23 or whatever, you know, and a lot of people are like, why the fuck is Jim Carrey doing, you know, these fucking movies? I always felt that way when I was a kid, especially. I was like, why is Jim Carrey doing these movies? Like, fucking do The Mask, do Dumb and Dumber. Like, that's it. But now that I've been doing like comedy movies 200 times, you do just genuinely get like, I want to fucking do something different or new, just to, like I said, something different to spice it up. So you, and also I love movies, all movies. It just so happens that what I want to do is the South Park thing. But so you allow me to explore that, and that I can't thank you enough for that. And I hope I hope you enjoy it. I know when we're shooting so many times, because you're so like calm and collected, and you'll just like move to the next shot. I'm like, hey, was that good? Like, am I doing all right? Like, is that fucking? And you're like, oh my god, dude, you nailed it. It was awesome. You know, like okay, like you know. So, but anywho, it's. I almost want to do your movies more than mine, just because I enjoy that so much. I like doing that different thing.
Well, I could say
sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say I could say exactly the same thing about you, and I think we both give each other the opportunity to like vent that other side that we want to explore, and because I absolutely love what you do. It's I love that format. I love being a part of it, and I do like I crave wanting to do that, and it's the perfect avenue to do it, and I guess it's the same the other way, which is perfect.
I love you, Mike. Love you, bro.
I love you too. And just a little context to what you kind of glazed over about your latest video is we recently shot it, and
the day before you did the interview with Dominic.
Yeah. Yep. And
night before,
when we were shooting the last part that we were going to shoot that night, and it was pretty late. I don't know, 10 p.m. or something. We're doing a full-on...
No, it was midnight. It was midnight.
Okay, well, midnight, even better. We're doing a full-on, like, one-take fight scene. So it's, you know, it's long, pretty long. And lo and behold, the cops show up. And luckily, you know, we have a light set up, a tripod. It's pretty evident what we're doing. We quickly explain it. They have
and we had fought like 4 times before they showed up too. Yeah,
like 4 times. And we were trying to be quiet. Apparently not quiet enough. As we're talking to them, you know, another one shows up, back up or whatever. But right off the bat, you know, they were both cool, understanding. They could see what we were doing. And, you know, depending on where you're at, they could just be like, oh, you know, you got to stop or whatever. Nope, they weren't like that. They're just like, oh, can I, you know, we showed them the shot we were doing so they could see we actually were doing that. They watched it, and then they're, go ahead, we'll watch. And we literally did it 2 or 3 more times with them watching us do it.
Well, we begged. I mean, like, and that just goes to show how willing we are for an audience and how desperate we are for an audience and how thirsty we are. Is that the second those cops showed up, before they said anything, I was like, dude, we got to make them watch this next one. They have to be here to watch, so it'll make us better. And you're like, yes, yeah. And that again is like, we're on the same wavelength all the time. And I don't think I've ever been, we talked about this, the most freaked out I have ever been is when we were shooting inside Lowe's that one time for your project, another awesome project, Cinema Walking Mumbling Man.
Yeah.
That freaked me out, but it also inspired me because you're like, don't be a fucking pussy, bro. Everything's cool. And I was like, yeah, fuck, what? But with that one, I immediately, like, when they're pulling up, I was like, we got to get them to watch this. Like, we need an audience, because I remember at that point, too, I was a little bit tired. It was like the fourth fight, and we weren't getting it, the last thing. It's not even like this crazy fight, everybody listening. It's a pretty 90s, like, but we do, and so that was the first thought, was that we got to get them to watch it. And then I remember when they did just watch the playback just to prove them we weren't killing ourselves, and you kicked me or whatever, and the cop goes, whoa, whoa. I remember being like, oh shit, like this is gonna work, and then I was like, dude, would you mind if you guys please just watched us, you know? And we did it again. They're like, yeah, sure. And we did it. I kind of wanted to do it one more time immediately. So they watched it again. They probably would have watched it. Those are the coolest. These guys were like Tom Cruise and Goose from Top Gun, just jacked, cool dudes. Excuse me. They're fucking cool. Only in Arizona. Another reason why I love Arizona. Fuck. Such a cool place to shoot. I mean, how and again, there's been so many times where we've gotten crazy lucky with, like, just walking into a Little Caesars and being like, can we shoot for 10 minutes in your kitchen? And they're like, yeah. So anyways, yeah, that was crazy. And I thought it was pretty funny to see you interviewing Dominic the next day when we had been up till, and then of course, you know, the election, Trump won, and we were up after that even, and we had some drinks and whatnot. And seeing you in that interview with Dominic constantly sipping your Ghost, I was like, shit. You just gotta be tired.
There's a little context for you. The previous night, I still got the bruise. Let me see. You see that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit.
Look at that.
Dude, oh, my God.
That's a battle scar from the fight we're talking about. I forgot that I had that. And the funny thing about this is, like, you weren't even, like, punching me. You were doing stabs, but, like, most of it was you just holding it here. And I got, like, this big raspberry. That just shows how old I am, I guess, that, like, just us doing that.
But also, every time we fight, I will, like, something will happen where I'll fall off a building and I land on my head, and I get up and I'm like, wow, I'm okay. And Michael will fucking just, like, step an inch and break his ankle in time delivery, the fight, which I think are some of the better fights we did. You had a fucking major broken ankle, right, from a kick, from a simple kick. That I kind of knew was going to happen because of the ground or whatever, but still, simple kick. And now you got what looks like a gigantic bruise from just little stabs. It's funny how, like, I get so lucky with, like, I'll fall into a pit of fire and, like, I got a paper cut, you know, and you get really beat up. I feel bad about that. That's why I'm always like, when I think of fights, I'm like, what can I do where Michael's not rolling on the ground or as, like, little as possible? Because for some reason, that happens a lot, and I get I'll fucking fall back on my head on concrete, and, like, so thank you for taking all the bruises.
Yeah, I didn't even feel this when we were doing it. Like, I was feeling my back and, you know, maybe my knees or something, but, like, this is, like, this actually looks a little better than it did. It's just weird, but, yeah.
That looked really bad. That, when you were telling me about it a couple days ago, I wasn't expecting that.
I don't know, but yeah, that's a little context for that interview. It was the previous night we were fighting up till like 3 a.m. or something, and then I don't know. It was a busy night, but
and we woke up at 7. I had to drive back, and you woke up to say goodbye.
Yeah, and that's a constant, or not constant. It's not as constant as we actually would want it to be, but we're always making stuff, basically.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be like that forever. And again, thanks to anybody who watches. You're making these two little boys' dreams come true just by watching.
Yeah, and we got so much more to come. It's crazy. internally frustrating because I'm like, I
Right.
know that there's so much more, but it's like, it's that impatience where it's like, well, got to wait for such and such, and this has to happen or whatever.
It's just hard to feel comfortable, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes when you got so much shit in your head that you want to do and you can't do it yet, and you got to wait because you got to, you're not free for another week, or I'm not free for 2 weeks or whatever. So it's
which is the good thing about doing something like this, is because we can at least, do something, vent something, talk about stuff.
I thought this was, I enjoyed this. I'm looking forward to anytime I get to do this, or just watching you do this without me, or even new guys. I like when you talk to Dominic. I really like that a lot.
Yeah, well,
Dominic, you're a really nice guy, and I can't believe what happened to you guys. It blows my mind. So, Halloween Stalks looked amazing, dude.
Yeah, I agree. He incredible looking film, and really well made too. And
yeah,
there's we'll be talking again on Thursday. A little plug episode 6. We're gonna be talking about what happened.
I won't be in the car.
Yeah, he won't be in a car. A little bit better setting. We'll be talking about what happened to movie Magic. There's a lot to be said on that. And then, I don't know. We'll be talking about a bunch of other stuff in the future, and I'm sure you'll come on multiple times. Maybe I'll have Dominic on again and some other people. Who knows? I don't have it all planned, but I just know there's a lot more to come, and you can expect this show at least once a week if I can manage it. And
Okay.
I just
Keep in mind, everybody, if he doesn't manage it in 1 week, it's because this guy's killing himself. Believe me. So
it's very likely.
I would say,
fully expect that to happen. By the way.
Right. I mean, I'm hoping as that we also make a ton of movies. More doing than talking. But you're absolutely right. This is a great way to just vent out once a week. But don't ever think that we're just going to be talking at once a week, everybody.
That's the key to this show. It will never take the place of that. It's just when we have time to do it, or when I have time to do it.
And don't think that I'm revealing the curtain too much, okay? Because I have to pretend to be cool, kind of. I just can't not, and I hope I pretended good today.
You had a beautiful facade. I see
Cool.
right through you, but they will never know.
Thanks, man. Cool. We'll talk after.
Speaking of that, did you want to stay on this when I turn the live off, or did you want to just text or something?
No.
Or just talk another time?
Well, we do. The video, did you send that on Google Drive or whatever?
Hey, this is
From
a private conversation. No, no, I will do that. So, yes.
Yeah, no rush. But,
Okay.
Well, right now I'm going to go probably get more. I just got off work, everybody, so probably just do like going home and working out and writing a little bit. I'm doing a little gangster rap thing. So, but anyways, yes.
I want to talk to you about that too, but we'll leave this at what it is. And we'll talk later. But I do want to just thank you for coming on, and I love you, man.
I love you, Mike. Talk to you soon. Love you, brother.
We will.
Basketball rules, bro. Check out everything else too, guys, if you like that.
Yes,
My
please
personal
do.
favorites. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
And
Mondays, American.
well, not even my films. If you're new to this, the links. Just go to search my channel, find it. It's there. I have other stuff. What you should do though is check out Cold Gray Sucks, Cold Gray Comedy, and you're guaranteed to laugh. I can give you that.
All right, man. I love you, dude. Talk to you soon, buddy.
I love you too, and to everyone out there, thanks for watching MBW Live, and I think there's only one thing left to say.
Man, game over, man. Game over. What are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?